preservation, accountability, sustainability, spelt with an R, sustainability, that's interesting, something to do with the rain. Workforce protection. Yes, we'll be talking about the workforce when it comes to the blue economy. Responsibility, zero pollution. So great. Everybody has had a chance to take part in the word cloud. Feel free to take a photo of these priorities. What we thought we could do, if there's somebody brave in the audience, this is a chance to speak to your word. A few words. Do we have some volunteers who would like to pass the microphone around just as a way to kind of set the scene for some of the discussions? We have some assistants with microphones here. Who would like the chance, just 1 minute, not a big long speech, because we're going to be opening the session in about 15 minutes' time, but who would like to speak to their word, the importance of their word, their main priority? Do we have a volunteer? This is your moment, your chance. Or I may choose somebody, put you on the spot. Any volunteers who would like to speak to their word, the priority for their organization? This is a rare moment, a rare chance. Who would like to speak? I can't believe that everybody's shy in this room. Yes, great. We have a volunteer. Round of applause for our first volunteer. So first of all, tell us what your word was and why this is a priority for you and where you come from. Where are you coming from?
Good morning. My name is Bernardo. I'm from Portugal. And I work for UNESCO for the Ocean Literacy team. I was waiting for someone to talk, but given that no one did, I can just issue a few words.
This is your moment.
My word was holistic. I was trying to talk about my field without just using one word. But I was just wanted to emphasize the importance of recognizing all the need for ocean inclusion and ocean literacy, ocean awareness in all sectors, and I'm really happy to see that portrayed in the screen here.
And what are you doing to get that holistic approach?
Sorry?
What are you doing to actually try to achieve that holistic approach when it comes to ocean literacy? Any key projects?
We are working with all kinds of sectors. Me personally, I work to develop the Blue School Global Network. So we try to bring ocean literacy to formal education. But we also try to work with politicians. We work with capacity building for journalists on how to communicate the ocean better. We are happy to now celebrate a new agreement with the European Commission, actually, to support ocean literacy with a priority in Europe, but also with a global focus. And we are very happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you very much. A round of applause for this opening remark. Isn't it great to have this interaction even before we start the Ocean Days, as we're awaiting the official launch at 9 o'clock. So it's great to get to know you as well. We feel like one big family together. Do we have a second volunteer? Somebody who wants to speak to their word. This is your moment, your chance. Yes. Microphone here, please.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. I am also Portuguese. My name is João. I am with Rita. We are the people from the criminal justice system.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, we are working with young people that are in prison, and we are making a connection, a bridge between the blue economy sector and the young people that are in prison, trying to bring this relationship, to make actually this relationship and to provide job opportunities for these young people.
So part of the generational renewal.
Yeah.
Making this connection, so great. And what was your key word? What was the key word that you put on the screen?
Actually, we put, I think, two different words. I use youth, and you, Rita? Yeah, I don't know.
Youth.
Yeah,
which is
youth.
great, which is
Youth
great
and-
for our session this afternoon because we're going to be talking about young people, and we will actually have a group of young people with us from a school in Belgium talking about what they're doing when it comes to the blue sector. We will be having this, and we'll be having somebody as part of a panel as well. We'll be having a teacher, for example, talking about blue skills, blue training. So great to have your word with us. Thank you very much, João. Thank you very much. A round of applause for João. Do we have a woman? Do we have a woman who would like to give their keyword? Yes, at the front, and then we'll go to the back. Microphone here, please, at the very front. Oh, yep, we'll start here. We have 10 minutes, so this is great. It's a nice way to warm up the room, isn't it, before we have the official delegations.
Thank you very much. I'm Isabelle Le Canac. I'm an MEP from the EPP, and my word was sustainability.
Sustainability.
I work a lot. I'm a member of the Fisheries Committee in the Parliament. Hello. And for me, it's very important. I think that we have to work on the Ocean Act on the 3 pillars of sustainability, economy, social, and environmental. That's what we're going to do with DG Marie, of course, and all the members of the Parliament who are very interested on all those subjects. So thank you so much for this event, which is very important for us because we are going to speak a lot together. I think we have a kind of community, and it's very important for the protection, the conservation of the oceans, but we don't have to forget, of course, the economy. So thank you so much.
And interesting for you to also see the words and the makeup of the room, so the different sectors and their priorities as well.
Yes. Everyone is here, so very
great.
good. Yes,
Thank you very much. Round of applause for this question. We have another woman at the back of the room. I saw a hand go up. Yes, please. As I say, we're all on this ship here in Brussels. I know that we don't have the ocean here in Brussels. You know, we can't take Brussels to the ocean, but we can bring the ocean to Brussels. So we're counting on all of you to stay on board, to attend all of the sessions. There's even on-board lunch and coffee and networking opportunities. It's true that I did recently hear in Brussels, they are actually uncovering, is that the word to use? Uncovering a long-lost river that used to run through Brussels. It was cemented over. It was forgotten. And I saw this in the local media talking about this river. So maybe we can imagine that our ship is going along this river, this new river, this renewed, this renaissance of a river that actually flows through Brussels. Yes, your question, please. What was your keyword and why is it your priority?
Hello everyone, my name is Elena Kardash. I'm coming from Romania. And I represent here 2 organizations. The first one is Research and Development Institute for Ecology, for Aquatic Ecology, Fishing and Aquaculture. And the other one is the FLAG, is Local Management Authority for Fishing Program in Romania, financed by FEAMPA. My keyword was preservation because today here I am in the name of the Institute mainly, and we are interested in developing a lot of projects regarding the preservation of stocks along the Danube. So knowing that European Commission has opened a few weeks ago some Horizon programs for a Danube, I'm very wide open to set up some ideas on this field. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you very much. Round of applause for these points. Yes, conservation, preservation, protection, right there in the middle. So we can see that this is one of the big concerns, one of the big priorities of you in the room. And it's always great for us to know who our public is. Who's on this ship with us as passenger? We have time for one more person, perhaps. We have 5 minutes before we have the official opening. Who would like to add their voice to this list of priorities? Yes, we have a question here. Great. Microphone coming on the right. So what was your key word and why was this your priority? And also tell us what organization and where you're coming from today.
Thank you. I'm Veronica Wilmot from the Alfred Wegener Institute for Polar and Marine Research in Germany. And as the name of my institute says, the interests we have here is, of course, the polar oceans, both the Arctic and also the Southern Ocean, because they are key factors in controlling and modulating the climate, for example, for the Earth, controlling the currents as well, the formation of deep water, also controlling the oxygenation. So it's really key to understand. And for that, these areas are very difficult to reach. So there is a big effort in international cooperation that has to be done to reach these areas, to work together and to protect these regions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Great. Yes, I see another hand going up. Maybe just final word. We started with our friend from Portugal. Maybe the final word as well. And we're kind of like closing the loop.
Sorry, everyone, I was just organizing the ideas in my mind again. So I just want to highlight that all of these depend on one key word that I cannot see there, which is behavior. And I also wanted to take a moment because some people still have this idea that ocean literacy is associated with education, because it started like that, but it's not the current situation. So we work on with all kinds of fields, and this is really important to highlight, and I wanted to take a moment to do that. And also to highlight the importance of the social aspect of all of this that is targeted through ocean literacy to change behavior, because we can have, for example, more information on the source of our food, but if people don't care about it, they will not buy the best option. We can talk about pollution policy, but if people are not doing it out of their own interest and intention, it's not going to work. So I just want to highlight these two important words, which is behavior and the social aspect that need to be more targeted in all of these priorities. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you very much. A round of applause to all of those passengers who were brave enough to speak up. And it's great to have such an engaged list of passengers on board our ship. Now, you're probably wondering, who is the skipper? Who's the captain of the ship that we're getting on for this week? Well, it's going to be me. I'm very sorry to say, because I've got no training. I can't read a map. I can't even tell you the words for the front of the boat or the back of the boat. You know that I come from New Zealand. I was born in New Zealand, and I have cousins who have made their own yachts. So I should know all of this. And every time I get on board a boat, they remind me. But don't worry, we're in safe hands. I will do my best. And don't forget, you know, the ship is on a very small river in Brussels. It's still being uncovered, so there's no huge risk. What I wanted to say as well, feel free during the coffee breaks and during the lunch breaks to make sure that you go and see some of the superb exhibitions that we have lined up. You've probably already seen, we have a photo booth here in this main lobby area, which is also where you're going to be having lunch and the coffee breaks. So there's a photo booth with a board behind you as a memory, as a souvenir for this week. Also, don't forget that we have the exhibition, the European Digital Twin Ocean Exhibition. Of course, that's a pillar. It's a main project. I was talking to Fabrice. He's very happy to welcome you there during the breaks from today onwards. And he explained to me that they've actually come up with some what-if scenarios for the European Digital Twin Ocean Exhibition. So you can actually see in real time these what-if scenarios. Also, don't forget, in some of the other rooms upstairs, we have the Sounds of the Ocean exhibition. We can hear lots of different sounds. I heard the sounds of whales yesterday. I think there are dolphins as well. We also have a virtual reality exhibition, and you can actually go and try this out. It looks wonderful. This is called Sea of Sounds, the Sea of Sounds. So this is another great demonstration you can take part in. I know that sometimes when I've tried virtual reality, sometimes I get a bit uneasy, a bit queasy on my feet. But I'm reassured that it's not skiing down a mountain. It's actually something nice, and you can listen to the sounds, etc. We also have something called the Blue Careers Marketplace, which is also upstairs, where you're more than welcome to go and talk to some of the people. And actually, when we have some of our panel sessions, for example, this afternoon when it comes to blue skills, training, etc., a lot of the panelists will be available to talk to afterwards. So we want to start a conversation here, and feel free. We're actually not saying coffee break today. We're actually using the word networking break. So of course you can have a coffee as well, but it's really a time for networking. So the coffee break will be for half an hour in the morning and the afternoon, and also lunch will be served here as well. I think we've been around the houses. I'm your skipper, I'm your captain, even though I've got no experience at all, but I feel like we all know each other now, which is great. Let's just give ourselves a big round of applause as we start this week. I'd like to say that we have some great people in the engine room on our ship at the very back in the Regie, for all the organizers, for all of those people who have helped get this journey, get this ship sailing. A big round of applause to all of those people. Thank you very much. And so the ship is going to be stopping at an extra port because, as you know, we have the official delegations. The official delegations arriving. As you all know, we will be having the President of the European Commission joining us this morning. Ursula von der Leyen will be with us. We're also going to be having the Deputy Shipping Minister from the Republic of Cyprus as well. As you all know, Cyprus is currently the holder of the rotating presidency of the European Union. We're also going to be hearing from a minister who I know well from Ireland, Timmy Dooley, the Minister of State for Fisheries and the Marine. I was fortunate enough to be the moderator for an event in Cork. Ursula von der Leyen, welcome. Welcome. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for taking your seats. As I say, we already have the passengers on board our large ship already in the audience. This is our next port of call, the official delegations joining us. So welcome. So Ursula von der Leyen, Marina Hadjimanoulis, who's from the Republic of Cyprus, also Timmy Dooley joining us from Ireland. Also Catherine Chabot from France, the Minister Delegate for the Sea and the Fisheries. We'll also be hearing from Kostas Kadis, European Commissioner for Fisheries and Oceans. And we'll also be hearing from two MEPs, Carmen Crespo-Diaz and Christophe Clergeau as well. So great to have all of you. A round of applause for our official delegations. Just to explain, we've been getting to know each other, getting to know our audience, getting to know some of the priorities, some of the topics. So hopefully your staff will share with you some of the key words that came up, priorities. Lots of different sectors represented here today as well as we launch off. So it's just after 9 o'clock. A very warm welcome to European Ocean Days 2026. The ship is off. We have everybody on board, so great. And actually, I said just a while ago that I was the skipper of the ship, but in fact, we have a real skipper with us today. It is a woman by the name of Marie-Kelle du Canard. She's also known as MK. She is actually a skipper, a marine biologist, and actually a performer. She's a musician. Her performances blend music and environmental advocacy. She talks about the connection between humanity and the natural world. And to launch European Ocean Days, it's a privilege, it's a pleasure to have with us MK. Take it away, MK. MK, wow, thank you so much. What a great way to begin Ocean Days. We're lulled on this journey, aren't we? What a great way to start our journey. I said that I was the skipper. I actually think that MK is more of a skipper than me. I prefer to follow her. Maybe I'm just the deckhand. Maybe the cabin boy. We'll talk about that later throughout the week. But talking about being at the helm of things, Ursula von der Leyen is with us, European Commission President, and at the helm of a great ship, a great project. It's true that these are very unpredictable times. Many would say incomprehensible times. But it is good, isn't it, to take the time to talk, to reflect, to keep focused, to keep working on the things that matter to all of us. A warm round of applause, please, for Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Commission.
Very much. What a pleasure to be here with you today. First of all, Commissioner Cardis, dear Costas, Excellencies, Ministers, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad to be here with, as you've said, so many outstanding people, skippers, scientists, students, startup pioneers, just to name a few. And we're all united in a common commitment to protect the ocean. Because we all know that for us Europeans, the ocean is central to our way of life. It feeds us, it gives us renewable energy to warm our homes, it helps us to protect our nature as the biggest carbon sink, it connects us to the rest of the world. And we all know that at the same time, the ocean is under more pressure than ever, from climate change to pollution to illegal fishing. And that's why we must act now with speed and determination. The basis for our success is science. We believe in science. And science tells us about the state of the ocean today and tomorrow. With accurate marine data, we can better understand what happens in the deep sea and in its vast waters. It will allow us to predict the impact of climate change and to prepare us for extreme weather events. And for all these reasons and many good reasons more, last year in Nice, I announced an ambitious ocean observatory initiative, and today it comes to life. We call it Ocean Eye. Ocean Eye will be our window to the ocean and on the ocean, and our key to unlock even more of its secrets. And let me give you a few examples of what we propose. First, we propose and want to discuss with you why we decided to invest in ocean observation. Second, how we will go about it. And third, how this will benefit all of us. To my first point, the more information we have about the ocean, the better we can safeguard its vast natural heritage and protect ourselves. Take, for example, an incident in Venice just a few years ago, and you might know it. One of Europe's most beautiful cities, Venice, was at risk of serious flooding. A massive tidal surge rushed up the Adriatic and threatened to destroy the city. But thanks to a network of data sensors, Venice deployed its flood barriers at the right moment, and the city and its inhabitants were saved. And to ensure this kind of protection all over the globe, we need more data from more locations. Now, let me start, when I say this, with the good news. We already have a network in place. We have sensors right around the world. For example, robot marine drones or gliders. And what I mostly like, even sensors mounted on sea turtles. All this data is fed into powerful computers to give real-time information. And this protects not only against extreme weather events, but also helps our economy. Take, for example, our Atlantic shellfish farmers from Galicia to Ireland. Their biggest concern is algal bloom, which can wipe out an entire crop. Now we can use satellite imagery to forecast the bloom weeks in advance, and this gives our farmers the opportunity to protect their stocks and their livelihood. Now, as I've said, this is the good news. I also have to come to the bad news. This kind of monitoring is not universally available. And there are still monitoring gaps in our European waters. And the global network has recently come under even more pressure. So we need more funding. And with Ocean Eye, we want to turn the tide. We want to close the gaps and enlarge the global network further, so that Ocean Eye will lead a new charge for truly global observation search. And this brings me to my second point: how we will get to a reliable observation system. The marine data network must be recognized as vital planetary infrastructure. This will replace the current system of voluntary cooperation with a more structured model, which is properly supported by all its members. And we need to ensure long-term funding. So the European Union will take a first step today. I can announce 50 million euro funding from Horizon Europe for the next 2 years. This is a first step, and in addition, we need commitments from our member states and trusted partners around the world. So today, we are launching an international alliance. An alliance to secure funding from countries, the private sector, and philanthropists. And I am delighted that the Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission has joined Europe in this initiative. We know we all depend on marine data network, and together we can ensure its success. So, ladies and gentlemen, my third point is that Ocean Eye is a great opportunity for business, research, and academia. And it is, of course, a great opportunity for Europe to be a world leader in marine data. This data has a huge range of commercial applications. For companies, for example, working on robotic drones, or the whole computerized weather predictions, or complex data analysis, you just name it. And I know our cutting-edge firms are leading the way in this exciting sector. A good example for Europe's leadership is the digital twin of the ocean that you can also visit during the ocean days. It is a powerful tool, and this powerful tool uses marine data to predict ocean behavior. It's fantastic. I've seen it. I can only recommend, go and have a look. It can forecast ocean currents, forecast weather patterns, and even forecast the migratory routes of the whales we just saw in that little clip. So the digital twin is at the heart of Ocean Eye. And we are committed to make it fully operational by 2030. Last but not least, Ocean Eye is a unique opportunity to bring the wonders and the potential of the sea to our citizens. Because the more we know about the ocean, the more we will cherish it. And perhaps in a few years, we can share its wonders on a board of our own European research vessel. That would be my dream, to have an own European research vessel. Let's work for it. Therefore, my colleagues also think this should be a way to go. So, ladies and gentlemen, Ocean Eye builds on the good progress we have made in the recent years on ocean governance. Nearly 10% of the ocean is now governed by marine protected areas. That's good, not enough. We have launched the Ocean Pact with clear targets for conservation and economic growth. We have made a breakthrough with the High Seas Treaty to protect deep waters, deep sea waters. We will adopt the Ocean Act later this year to support Ocean Eye and will provide a clear governance structure. So you see there's a whole system, governance system in place. We need more, as I said, but now we need all our support, your support, and other support. In the week ahead, Commissioner Cardis will reach out to the potential partners inside the European Union and outside the European Union, basically to ask to pledge your support. By your, I mean the wider community and the wider community's funding. Basically, our call is help us to preserve our ocean for many generations to come. Long live Europe, and welcome to the Oceans Days.
Ursula von der Leyen, thank you very much, and great to see that initiative, to hear the details of that initiative. Thank you very much, and good luck with the future projects and the future steps. Thank you very much. Ursula von der Leyen, thank you very much. As I've already mentioned, the Republic of Cyprus, the current holder of the rotating presidency of the European Union. And we know that in May, for example, European Maritime Day is going to be held in Cyprus as well, Limassol, if I'm not mistaken. Let's call to the stage now for some remarks from Marina Hadjimanoulis, the Deputy Shipping Minister from the Republic of Cyprus. Warm round of applause. Thank you very much.
Good morning, Commissioner Cadiz, honorable member of the European Parliament, dear ministers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great honor to join you today on behalf of the President of the Republic of Cyprus, Mr. Nikos Christodoulidis, for the opening of the European Ocean Days 2026. I would like to thank the European Commission and DG Mare for convening this flagship gathering, which has become Europe's central platform for maritime affairs and the sustainable blue economy. Our presence here today sends a clear message. The European Ocean Pact marks an important milestone. The challenges we face and the opportunities we have demand that Europe acts together and decisively. The European Ocean Pact marks a turning point. For the first time, all EU ocean-related policies, environmental, industrial, research, transport, and security are brought together under a single strategic framework. This coherence is essential. Ocean governance cannot be fragmented. It requires coordination across institutions, sectors, and levels, but mainly collaboration with governments, industry, scientists, investors, and coastal communities. Under the Ocean Pact, initiatives such as the Industrial Maritime Strategy, the EU Port Strategy, the Sustainable Tourism Strategy, the Ocean Observation Initiative and the revision of the Maritime Spatial Planning and the Marine Strategy Framework Directive demonstrate the scale of this transformation in how Europe governs its seas. We face a global emergency in our oceans. Climate change, pollution, and biodiversity loss threaten food security, energy systems, maritime transport, and the livelihood of coastal communities. Protecting and restoring ocean health must remain the foundation of any sustainable use of marine resources. We must accelerate progress towards good environmental status in all EU marine waters and deliver on our biodiversity commitments, including protecting at least 30% of our seas by 2030, with 1/3 strictly protected. We must also ensure full implementation of the BBNJ agreement and strengthen global ocean governance under UNCLOS. At the same time, sustainability and competitiveness must advance together. Europe's maritime industries, shipping, shipbuilding, ports, fisheries, and aquaculture are strategic assets. We need innovation, decarbonization, investment, and simplified regulatory frameworks that maintain environmental ambition. And ambition is very important. Ports should become hubs of clean energy, circularity, and resilience. Maritime spatial planning must continue to reconcile the competing use of sea space, offshore energy, biodiversity protection, fisheries, transport, and defense, ensuring coherence and coordination and sea basin cooperation across sectors. Ultimately, ocean governance is about our human resource. It is about the people, and we usually forget the people. Resilient coastal and island communities rely on a healthy ocean. Fisheries, aquaculture, maritime transport, offshore energy, and tourism sustain livelihoods and regional economies. Knowledge is key. Through ocean observation, marine data, research cooperation, and tools such as the European Digital Twin of the Ocean. Investment and resources through the multi-annual financial framework and private funding will determine whether the pact becomes truly transformative. Ladies and gentlemen, with the Council conclusions of the Ocean Pact, Member States have sent a clear political signal. The European Ocean Pact is a shared European commitment, and the upcoming presidencies need to ensure continuity when discussing the European Ocean Pact. Ireland. Now is the moment to act together, translate coherence into action, ambition into delivery, and strategy into results. The ocean connects our climate, our economies, our security, and our global responsibility. Thank you very much, and looking forward to host you all in European Maritime Day in Limassol. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The message from Cyprus. Looking forward to European Maritime Day as well in May. Thank you very much. I mentioned that my name was Seamus. I'm half Irish, so it's with a great honour to welcome our next guest, the Minister from Ireland. In France, where I live, they often call me Seamus. And somebody this morning said to me, how appropriate to have somebody moderating an ocean and sea conference with a name that starts with C, S-E-A. In France, I'm like a sea creature because they pronounce my name like sea mouse, the mouse from the sea, or sea moose, But with Timmy Dooley, Ireland's Minister of State for Fisheries and the Marine, we are known as Seamus. Timmy Dooley, thank you very much. Warm round of applause.
Well, thank you very much, Seamus. It's a pleasure to share such an important occasion, being led and being steered by an Irishman with a very considerable amount of experience around the area. President van der Leyen has gone, but I think her presence here today sends a very strong signal, together with other distinguished guests, including our dear friend Commissioner Caddis, who has shown such an interest in the ocean since his appointment and indeed through his time as a minister. And of course to colleagues and friends from the Ministerial pool, it's great to be with you. And from my perspective, Seamus, the surf of the Atlantic Ocean, it sprays on the shores of my very own constituency of County Clare in the west of Ireland, so I was delighted to accept this invitation to be with you today. These European Ocean Days are really a magnificent opportunity for our diverse maritime community to come together and discuss in a collaborative way the implementation of the Ocean Pact under its 6 pillars. And as the challenge has been put down to me by Maria, I look forward in my role in working with you through your presidency and indeed working our way through our presidency about the continuation of that really important work. It's clear by the agenda set out by the Commission over the coming days that the European Ocean Days are designed to inspire Member States and other key stakeholders to speed up the implementation of the Ocean Pact. It's all well and good to talk about it, but it has been put in place to be implemented and worked through. Ireland is an island nation with a maritime area measuring 7 times the size of our land mass, is exceptionally well placed to drive and support the maritime agenda at EU level. I can assure you that we will use Ireland's presidency of the Council of the European Union to support that implementation of the Ocean Pact in an ambitious, in an efficient and in a pragmatic way. Ireland is acutely aware of the challenges we face in terms of securing and restoring the health of our oceans. I look forward to hearing the discussions on the topic of how we can ensure alignment with EU strategies during our presidency. The health and the sustainability of our seas and ocean is essential to life on the planet, to Ireland's ocean economy and to the wider blue economy, regionally, but really importantly, globally too. Ireland is firmly committed to the protection of the marine environment and seeks to have a clean, healthy, productive and biologically diverse and sustainably used marine area. This is in line with the EU Sustainable Development Goals, the UN Convention on Biological Diversity, and indeed the OSPAR Convention and the EU Maritime Strategy Framework. There is also a clear requirement to boost the competitiveness of our sustainable blue economy and a real need to further support our coastal communities, islands and outermost regions. The specific events here this week give stakeholders the opportunity to engage with policymakers and to shape the appropriate responses. The requirement of our ocean research is imperative to support evidence-based decision-making at national and EU level, and I was delighted to look through the agenda and see so many from our state agencies and our government departments participating here during the week, and it shows, I think, a very strong commitment where the Irish government is at in relation to the Ocean Agenda, the Ocean Pact and ultimately the Ocean Act. Research and innovation is a priority of the Ocean Pact, and the Ocean Research and Innovation Strategy is a core scientific and technological pillar. So in the context of current geopolitical conditions, and in particular Russian aggression against Ukraine, the requirement to enhance EU maritime security is real and immediate, and Ireland is taking steps to bolster its own maritime security. And I was pleased to see just last week that our new maritime security strategy being published. I'm sure the panel later in the week will provide insights into the EU maritime security strategy. And Ireland is committed to ensuring that the EU marine security strategy is reviewed during our presidency. Furthermore, Ireland, like the EU, is fully committed to ocean diplomacy and international governance. And during Ireland's presidency, we will drive the implementation of the Ocean Pact by hosting a conference on the topic during our presidency and supporting the delivery of the Ocean Act. So like Maria, who has sold the virtues of going to Limassol for a Maritime Day, I too would expect and hope that many of you could join us for that event in Ireland. And I understand that the Ocean Pact will be supported by an Ocean Board, which will have its first meeting later this month. And as the role of this high-level expert group will be, as I understand, to advise the Commission on and contribute to the effective implementation of the European Ocean Pact, provide opinions on specific matters related to the Ocean Pact, and importantly too, foster the dialogue among members to encourage coherence and synergy between EU policies and private sector investments. And I think the Commission President has already identified the importance of bringing the private sector together with the NGO sector and, of course, government and the political sector. It will also play a key role supporting, from a high level, the overall objectives of the Ocean Pact. So, as we in Ireland look to our presidency and the preparation of your contributions later today, I call on you to really reflect on why you are here and what we can do better to ensure that the European Ocean Pact is implemented in full. I assure you, just like Ocean Days, Ireland will use our presidency to continue to champion a sustainable blue economy while protecting the health of our oceans and seas, on which the blue economy depends so much. Consistent with our shared values in an ever-changing geopolitical landscape, we will continue to drive competitiveness with a specific consideration of our coastal and island communities. We will continue to lead in the area of research and innovation and support security of Europe's maritime domain. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your presence, for your interest, and for your willingness to engage in the important work that you will do over the next number of days. I look forward to meeting many of you again during Ireland's term in the chair of the presidency. I look forward to an achievement by the end of that period. Thank you so much.
Minister Dooley, thank you very much from Ireland. Thank you very much for those comments. I would like to just add also that this is being web streamed. We have people not only in the room, but also people at home, in the office. It's being recorded, so all of these remarks, everything that we see with the panels, etc., we have people at home watching, so hello to them as well. Round of applause for all those watching on the web stream. As I said before, I live in France, in Lyon, 30 years almost now in France, so you can almost say that I'm almost French. And it's a great honor to welcome Catherine Chabot, France's Minister Delegate for the Sea and Fisheries, for some opening remarks. Thank you very much.
Dear Commissioner Cadiz, ministers, members of the European Parliament, excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor for me to take part in the inauguration of these European Ocean Days as French Minister for the Sea and Fisheries, having advocated during my term as a member of the European Parliament for European Ocean Pact. I'm especially proud to contribute today to its implementation. Through my years of sailing, because Minister, I'm also a sailor, and I know MK. It was a great honor for me to see her here. She's an amazing girl. So through my years of sailing and commitment to the ocean, I have become convinced that humanity's future must be written in partnership with the ocean. The EU's maritime presence across all ocean regions of the globe is a geostrategic asset that we must fully embrace. The European Ocean Pact is a decisive step. For the first time, all EU ocean policies will gather into one coherent framework. It signals that Europe, thanks to the leadership of President von der Leyen, and thank you to her, finally embraces the responsibility and the opportunity that being the first maritime space offers. This leadership must now be translated into an ambitious Ocean Pact Act that should reflect the EU's political ambition to build a true ocean union. These ocean days are the right moment to take stock, to consult, to act together. Protecting the ocean starts with knowing it. The Ocean Observation Initiative presented by President von der Leyen, the Copernicus Marine Service, and the European Digital Twin of the Ocean gives us unprecedented tools to model biodiversity loss, track pollution, and assess coastal risk under different climate scenarios. And I like very much the name Ocean Eye that she gives. France is proud to support the institutions that make this knowledge possible. Mercator Océan International is the backbone of the European digital twin of the ocean, and we strongly advocate for its transformation into a full intergovernmental organization, but we need now to ratify it very quickly. France is also firmly committed to the international platform for ocean sustainability, you know, the IPOS, a precious resource for many countries. More broadly, France has made ocean protection a national and international priority. This commitment is reflected in the 30 by 30 goal, reaffirmed at UNOC 3 in Nice, and in the early ratification of the IC Treaty. It is also embodied in the Neptune mission, mentioned by Ursula von der Leyen, which brings together European research fleets and scientific institutions in a shared scientific endeavor, and which will be a core pillar of the Ocean Observation Initiative, the Ocean Eye. Ladies and gentlemen, our fishers and fish farmers, our ports and maritime industries, our startups and researchers, we all have a stake in a healthy ocean. So let's promote a blue economy that helps regenerate natural and socio-economic ecosystems. I'm also particularly moved to see that this year's program makes space for the next generation. They deserve to inherit ambition, not apologize. This edition's theme says it all, sustaining the ocean, our global common that sustains us. Let us make these days count. Thank you.
Catherine Chabot, merci beaucoup. Thank you very much. Thank you for those opening remarks as we launch into Ocean Days. You mentioned MK, the violinist. Did I mention that she is Belgian-American? So in France, we say MK, and she's also known as MK. And actually, just as a little surprise, she will be returning onto the stage after these opening speeches. So for all of those who love that opening, those tunes at the beginning with the images, MK will be joining us again. Somebody who needs no introduction for many of you here in the room, the European Commissioner for Fisheries and Oceans, Kostas Kadis. A warm round of applause. Thank you very much.
Dear ministers, dear members of the European Parliament, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends of the ocean, it is a great honor for me to join all of you in opening this third edition of the European Ocean Days. We are here today united by our shared sense of duty and commitment to our ocean and its communities, especially during this period of global instability. I extend my sincere gratitude to President von der Leyen, whose presence here today, this morning, emphasizes the deep and inseparable connection between the future of our ocean and the future of Europe and the well-being of our ocean. because, as the President just said, the ocean defines Europe. Yet, for too long, our ocean policy was fragmented and lacked a cohesive direction. The European Ocean Pact was a turning point. The pact is structured in 6 pillars and brings together, for the first time, under one cohesive and coherent European ocean vision, priorities such as environmental protection, economic competitiveness, support to coastal communities, ocean knowledge, marine security, and international ocean governance. And we have been working full speed to turn this vision into action. Today, I would like to highlight several initiatives included in the Ocean Pact that have already been delivered or are being developed in the year ahead. In the context of the first pillar, the Commission developed the water resilience strategy with a source-to-sea approach. In close cooperation with Commissioner Roosevelt, we are also revising the Marine Strategy Framework Directive to better address the environmental challenges our ocean is facing. In addition, we are promoting the expansion and more effective management of our marine protected areas through a co-management approach, having witnessed the importance of involvement of local stakeholders and especially fishers in the conservation efforts. Under Pillar 2, the evaluation of the Common Fisheries Policy Regulation will provide an evidence-based assessment of whether the regulation remains fit for purpose, looking at all 3 pillars of sustainable development: economic, social, environmental. Building on the evaluation, the Vision 2040 for fisheries and aquaculture will address the challenges affecting the sector, while the energy transition roadmap will promote energy solutions that preserve our ecosystems, protect the sector from future energy shocks, and stimulate blue economy. The sustainable blue economy will be further boosted through forthcoming Commission initiatives such as the ports and industrial maritime strategies and the sustainable tourism strategy. Under Priority 3, the European Ocean Pact positions the support of coastal areas, islands, and outermost regions as a key priority. This year, we will present strategies related to these regions, focusing on their resilience, economy diversification, and youth engagement. Moreover, responding to requests from member states and their outermost regions, we recently reviewed the fleet renewal guidelines for the outermost regions. Priority 4 recognizes that solid marine knowledge is a necessity for Europe's sovereignty and autonomy. And President von der Leyen was very clear on this aspect of the European Ocean Pact. With the Ocean Eye, announced this morning by the President, we will reinforce our observation capabilities, including through global cooperation. With the European Strategy for Ocean Research and Innovation, we will translate ocean knowledge into market-ready solutions that bolster our strategic autonomy and competitiveness. There is no doubt that the ocean is key for Europe's security, particularly in the current geopolitical context. In that respect, the Action Plan on Undersea Cable Security and the Action Plan on Drones and Counter-Drone Security, with a strong maritime and underwater leg, will play an important role, and so will the continued implementation of the EU Maritime Security Strategy. Under Priority 6, we will deliver a strategic framework for our fisheries external action, modernizing our sustainable fisheries partnership agreements, reinforcing our engagement in regional fisheries management organizations, leading the entry into force of the High Seas Treaty, and strengthening our policy to address illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing. Under the latter, catch, the first digital system for checking fishing certificates, introduced on the 10th of January 2026, is a very important step. In the context of the ocean diplomacy, a key role will also be played by the forthcoming EU Arctic strategy update, as well as the Pact for the Mediterranean and the Black Sea strategy adopted last year. The legal component of the Ocean Pact will be the forthcoming Ocean Act, which will help coordinate and simplify the regulatory landscape linked to the ocean. The High-Level Ocean Board, which we are in the process of establishing, will help monitor the implementation of the Ocean Pact, while the forthcoming EU Ocean Pact dashboard will provide a public, transparent platform to track progress. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, there is a single thread, a shared conviction tying these initiatives together. Europe must be a global ocean power, not only in geography, but also in responsibility, innovation, and leadership. So let us make the European Ocean Days not only a forum for discussions, but a catalyst for decisive action. Let's work together for a sustainable and thriving ocean, for our communities, for our European Union, for the entire world. Thank you for your attention.
Commissioner Cadiz, thank you very much. Interesting, because just before we started the official opening, we did ask the audience to give their priorities for the future of the oceans. And yes, there was correlation, wasn't there? We saw a lot of the same priorities coming up and what we see there. So thank you very much. It's true that a lot of the work also happens at the European Parliament. And let's now get the perspective from members of the European Parliament. I'd like to start with a video message, in fact, from Carmen Crespo-Diaz, MEP, of course, and Chair of the Committee on Fisheries. And hopefully we have a video message from Carmen Crespo-Diaz. Just waiting for the sound. We do have the subtitles.
Lo que puede ser las cuestiones medioambientales, las cuestiones económicas y obviamente el océano es vital para Europa. Gracias, presidenta, gracias, comisario, y también a todo el sector. Porque los océanos son, desde el punto de vista transversal, importantísimos para toda Europa. Fundamentalmente en lo que puede ser las cuestiones medioambientales, las cuestiones económicas y obviamente la necesidad que tenemos en algunos sectores de ir mejorando. Creo que en estos momentos tenemos una oportunidad única, esa oportunidad única que tiene Europa de no importar el 70% del pescado que consume, que es una proteína saludable, y poder, a través de esta semana de océano y una ley de océano que estaremos al lado del comisario, poder desarrollar la capacidad para alimentar a todos los europeos con estas proteínas saludables sin necesidad de tantísima importación al respecto. Creo además que hay que cambiar también nuestras leyes para flexibilizarlas. La política pesquera común, el plan del Mediterráneo, la capacidad que tenemos en este caso económica a través del marco financiero son elementos que en estos momentos se están estudiando, especialmente en el Comité de Pesca. ¿Por qué? Porque necesitamos herramientas. Esas herramientas antes era el FEMPA y ahora deben ser los suficientes recursos. Se ha pedido a través del Comité de Pesca 7.500 millones para poder desarrollar la política pesquera de descarbonización, de incorporación de jóvenes, de medidas costeras que den oportunidades a la pesca y a todo el sistema costero europeo. Creo que tenemos mucho que celebrar, pero también tenemos mucho que hacer. La puesta en práctica de todo lo que nos hemos planteado creo que es fundamental. Y es el momento de dar el espaldarazo a los océanos, por supuesto a través del Pacto de los Océanos, pero también a los sectores productivos que dependen de ellos, especialmente un sector productivo loable que multiplica por mucho, en estos casos, lo que se le da para poder dinamizar las zonas costeras y para tener una profesión que aporta proteínas saludables a todos los europeos y que merece la pena estar a su lado por la soberanía alimentaria y también por la actividad económica loable, histórica, perteneciente a la Unión, que es básica también para el futuro. Celebremos esta semana con oportunidades, pero también con retos de futuro que todos lo tenemos que hacer juntos. Parlamento, Comisión, Consejo y, por supuesto, siempre al lado del comisario para seguir trabajando juntos. Los pescadores esperan mucho de nosotros y están a la espera de las decisiones que podamos tomar. Siempre nos incluyen oportunidades y esas oportunidades van a través de normas, de leyes, de oportunidades de simplificación. El ómnibus de pesca no puede ser una cuestión baladí, sino es un tema fundamental para poder seguir trabajando en el reglamento de control, en poder seguir trabajando en las leyes y planes. Tenemos que tener un ómnibus específico para la pesca, porque esto va a permitir que toda la actividad sea sostenible, pero al mismo tiempo de oportunidades a no decaer en un sector que es fundamental.
Video message from Carmen Crespo Diaz, and let's now get the perspective from Christophe Clergeau, MEP, Vice President of the S&D Group in the European Parliament, Chair of CIRICA as well. Christophe Clergeau, thank you very much.
Good morning to all, dear Commissioner, dear Ministers, dear colleagues from European Parliament. It's my pleasure to be there with you on behalf of CIRICA Intergroup, because we are a transpartisan intergroup, and Isabelle Kalenek here is one of the members of the board of this intergroup, and we are trying to have some blue elements in all public policies in European Union and in European Parliament, and it's not easy to achieve. 15 years ago, my first trip in Brussels as regional councillor was to try to save the shipyards that are supposed to be closed. And in my region, my shipyard is now a key actor for shipbuilding, but also for renewable energy, but also for shipbuilding of green boats with wind propulsion. And when I see what happened these last 2 years, a lot of things have changed. For the first time, ocean is at the heart of a European agenda. And I would like to acknowledge the leadership of Ursula von der Leyen, of course, and of Commissioner Cadiz, to have been able to propose and to achieve that blue agenda. But now, we just have to remember that oceans are at risk, and that there is a risk to forget the ocean in the next months, because we are always the little thing in the global agenda, and obviously when we are facing so dangerous period. We have reached a turning point, that was your words, Commissioner, and now we have to come from Ocean Pact to concrete action to climb one more step together. When we will meet again in 1 year, the moment we will not be anymore to deal with perspective, but just to look at what we will have been able to achieve or not. We need a geopolitical ocean union. And I think Ocean Eye, presented by Ursula von der Leyen, is a key element at international level if we really want to rely on marine data and to tackle the decisions made by Donald Trump. We need also cooperation with third countries and with Africa. And we are delighted to have now IPOS, as Catherine Chabot mentioned. But we also really need to have maritime dimension at the core of European security and defense. And I fear it could be forgotten. So we need, yes, to talk about naval defense, about our military ports, and about critical infrastructures. In the next days, we will discover new European strategies, the Commissioner mentioned. And in the Parliament, we are all fighting for an ambitious ports and maritime industry strategies, but to have concrete outputs, to have this industrial alliance advocated by the sector, by the private sector, to have an action plan and not only a strategy. And for example, to be able to build again some green ferries in Europe, to regain soft share markets. And when we are dealing with ports, we would really like to have capacity to support any kind of port in Europe in their diversity, and for example, to really, yes, give a focus to middle-sized ports in Europe that are so key in our regions. And then when we are dealing with island and coastal areas and outermost region, the concrete question now is about habitability, quality of life in front of climate change and day-to-day life difficulties. Then, two last elements, Ocean Act and budget, money. My friend Carmen Crespo began to talk about money. Ocean Act should be a game changer and a key enabler because we have a problem of credibility. We are far from the 30 objective. We are far from the good environmental status of ocean. So now we need a concrete path to be able to demonstrate with credibility that we can go quicker and we can achieve these international and European objectives on which we are not able to deliver at a good level of success. Yes, I share the approach of my colleagues that we need a single governance tool to achieve both environmental status of ocean and sustainable blue economy in Ocean Act, merging MSPD and MSFD. But we need also to hear from the NGOs their fears, because in this Europe, when we are talking about simplification, everybody understands deregulation. And a lot of NGOs just want to protect MSFD as a key framework to have concrete and precise environmental goals. So I really think we can build something new together by merging MSFD and MSPD, but we need to answer to these fears and to give guarantees that environmental objectives won't be diluted in the Ocean Act. And last but not least, in the Ocean Act, we should set an ocean mainstreaming principle to be sure that the ocean dimension will be really taken into account in any type of initiative or legislation in the next years. And obviously, the first priority to have maritime mainstreaming is MFF. Because, yes, I am fighting with my colleagues to secure money for the future of fisheries. But if we are only dealing with MFAF or decarbonization of the fleet, we will have just a focus on a part of what should be addressed in MFF. We need blue priorities in every budget and every public policies. Just one example, if we want to achieve the mobilization of 10% of European Competitiveness Fund to support all the maritime issues, we have a lot to do to convince our colleagues, the commissioners, the council, and the MEPs to converge in link with these objectives. With my team, we consider that we should mobilize 120 billion euros in the next MFF to double the percentage of mobilization of the MFF to come to 3 in the current one to 6. Will we be able to achieve that? This is a question. I hope these Ocean Days will give a part of the answer. And then when we will meet again in Cyprus for European Maritime Days, we will be able to see what we have been able to achieve altogether. Thank you very much.
Christophe Clégeot, thank you very much. Great to have the perspective from the European Parliament. Of course, everybody involved in moving things forward. Great to have those insights. And really, it's feeding into the overall discussion, isn't it? Hopefully triggering some of the reflection we need as we look forward to some of these great panels happening over the coming week. And a lot of these issues are going to be covered in these panels, drilling down into the information, deep diving, I like to say, into a lot of these issues. I think we would all agree that it was great to be on the ocean at the start of this session today, this opening session. It was great to be lulled with this amazing music. And I'd like to call back MK onto the stage to continue our journey, to take us towards the coffee break in about 10 minutes' time. MK, take it away. Thank you very much. Much amazing music over amazing images. Chills down the spine for me. I don't know about you, to hear the mixture of the human music and also nature's music. Absolutely wonderful. Great. And listen, what I wanted to say was that we're heading into a coffee break, but don't forget that after the break, I'm going to be leaving you in the very safe hands of Shalina Vicheva, of course, the Director General at DJ Murray. She'll be facilitating a session, of course, on the European Ocean Pact today and looking forward. And great to have that music, isn't it? Because it really is reinforcing this message, sustaining the ocean that sustains us. I'd also like to say that MK is actually doing a doctorate. I said she's a marine biologist, she's a skipper, she's also a musician, she's doing a doctorate, and she loves to get your feedback as part of her research into this blend between music and nature. So don't hesitate to approach MK during the coffee break. Thank you all very much, and see you here in half an hour. Thank you very much.
Allô? Ah voilà, là ça module, parfait, super. Et tester, c'est, est-ce que tu as quelque chose? Ya, et ça, les deux, magnifique.
Je ne te vois pas.
So, ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. Don't forget that the official delegations, we had 3 rows reserved at the front, but feel free to move up, move further up. We don't always want to have these rows at the front empty, so don't be shy. Please move forward. You get a better view of the panel, of what's happening. So feel free to move forward up to these front rows. Feel free to take a seat in some of these front rows. Don't be shy, please move forward. I think we are destined to have these empty spaces in the front. But for the following sessions, don't hesitate to fill up these front row seats. Thank you very much. So hopefully everybody has a nice coffee break, a little sweet, something to give us energy for the next part of Ocean Days. We're going to be focusing on the Ocean Pact, what's happening at the moment, taking stock, and also looking forward with an expert panel. Just before that, I just wanted to just briefly mention the music just before the coffee break, because I saw a lot of enchanted faces as MK was playing the music. Did you all realize that there was a shout out to a couple of the countries with the speakers in the front? We had the Irish jig. We had a tune from Cyprus. We had a tune from France as well. So I just wanted to mention that. I wanted to mention that before the coffee break. But yeah, a special shout out there from MK. We're in very safe hands now, talking about the Ocean Pact, taking stock, aren't we? Shalina Vicheva, who is Director General of DJ Mari, she is going to be leading a session now with a panel on taking stock, looking at today and tomorrow for the Ocean Pact. So a warm round of applause, please, for Shalina Vicheva.
Good morning, everyone. I really feel privileged to guide you through the next panel that follows immediately after the high-level opening. We were all extremely happy and grateful to our President von der Leyen, for her opening remarks. And if I have to take already certain takeaways from this session, we definitely have the Ocean Eye initiative. That is the highlight of the Commission President's speech. So we are going to have part of our panelists that are going to speak at length about ocean observation, but I'm really happy that this initiative was launched at the very high political level of the European Commission. We had a number of distinguished guests as well, current and future presidencies, but also I will use something that the French minister said, that we have a geopolitical asset to deal with. The ocean is our geopolitical asset. So a lot will roll out in continuation of this high-level panel, but I will use also the words of my commissioner, who was quite comprehensive in how committed we are in implementing what was launched as European Union Ocean Pact in June, that we are implementing it in full speed. Because strategies are very good, political initiatives are very important, high political commitment is absolutely essential, but it is even more important that all these are implemented. And today, we will try to take stock, but even more importantly, we will cast the way forward, because we are at the beginning of 2026, and we will try to give you a taste of all the work that is going on at the moment in order to deliver so much in 2026 in implementation of the European Ocean Pact. And you would recall that when we were designing the European Ocean Pact, we were extremely inclusive. We worked enormously and in a very intense dialogue and co-working with all Commission services. 21 Commission services participated in the design of the European Ocean Pact. So we continue down the road with the same commitment of working together. I would not go so much into the initiatives because Commissioner Cadiz was quite comprehensive with the various deliverables per pillar, the 6 pillars of the Ocean Pact. But I would like to recall certain of these initiatives, and just to recall that we still have an ongoing call for the high-level European Ocean Board. Its first meeting will take place on the 31st of March, and it will be chaired by the Commissioner himself. We are on the way to have the adoption of the Industrial Maritime Strategy and the European Union Port Strategy. So that's why one of the guests here, one of the panelists for this panel, will be able potentially to lift the curtain a bit on, with these initiatives. We are also going to have soon the Common Fisheries Policy evaluation. And of course, we will talk a lot with the colleagues from RTD, with whom we work extremely closely on the Ocean Observation Initiative and more. I would like also to again recall that in June, we are going to deliver the Coastal Community Strategy. That's why we have a very important speaker from the regional perspective. And we have to always remind ourselves that we need to keep up the momentum. The Ocean Pact actually reflects the strong momentum of commitment, of collegial effort, and we, I have to say, we in DG Mare are fully on board with all the other services to work together and deliver. The Ocean Pact also stands as a clear sign of the increasingly important collaboration, not only within the Commission, but across the member states, the regions, the various NGOs, the stakeholders from the industries related to the ocean. So we are a big community here to work in a strong partnership. And this will be quite visible when we talk about the European Union Industrial Maritime Strategy and the Port Strategy, and when we talk with our colleagues from RTD about the Ocean Observation Initiative and the Ocean Research and Innovation Strategy. We also attach great importance to what the stakeholders are saying, and not only the organized stakeholders, but also the citizens. Each and every citizen matters for us. And I would like to recall that we have 4 calls that are open for evidence and ideas and comments from all of you. And I will just recall these 4 calls are about the Marine Strategy Framework Directive, about the Vision 2040 for Fisheries and Aquaculture, about the EU Coastal Community Strategy, and about the update of the European Union Arctic Strategy. So we have these 4 calls. Please bear with us. We are asking a lot from you, but we would like to deliver the best fit to and tailor-made to the requests, demands, and the ideas coming from all stakeholders. Before we dive with our panelists into the various initiatives, I would like to say a couple of words about the Ocean Act. I will use here the very nice concept used by MEP Clergeau. We would like, with the Ocean Act and the Ocean Pact in general, to have the ocean mainstreamed. Because the Ocean Pact is a single framework for all ocean-related policies with the single reference point of the ocean. So ocean mainstreaming is something that we still need to achieve. And to recall, because we've been passing the message consistently, the Ocean Act will be based on the review of the Maritime Spatial Planning Directive, but also on the MSFD review, the Marine Strategy Framework Directive. So for this, we will have distinguished panelists to talk about. And in the Ocean Act, we will also put together all the targets which are existing related to the ocean, and they can be identifiable under one roof, so that the coherence of policies is really focused into this act, and that in its turn will help us to have this ocean mainstreaming. As it was mentioned also by our president, the Ocean Act will contain the governance of the ocean observation and the overall governance of the Ocean Pact. So we will have a very interesting panel. We will discuss about the knowledge base and the ocean observation and how we can regenerate and conserve our ocean. By the way, it was extremely telling when the Slido questions about the word you would like to retain from this Ocean Week. The real center was protection, conservation, sustainability. So Patrick, you have to be very happy about this mainstream of opinions in this room. More coherence, more synergies, and these synergies have to come by design. This is what the Ocean Act will be about, and we have to achieve it with all of you, inclusively, and to the benefit of the future generation. The Pact aims to be a very holistic approach to the ocean, and with this, we will work not only with the member states, but with the regions, so that's why we have also invited a representative from the Conference of Peripheral Maritime Regions, the CPMR. So I would like now to invite on stage our distinguished panelists. Warm welcome to Patrick Child, who is the Deputy Director General of DG Environment. Patrick, please join us. I'm really happy also to welcome our dear colleague Fotini Ioannidou, and she's the director in DG Move, and she is actually the one that will try to lift the curtain for you for the industrial maritime strategy and the port strategy, but also for the tourism strategy. Fotini, welcome. Then I'm really happy to invite to the stage James Morrison, who is Director Healthy Planet in DG Research and Innovation. James, thank you for joining. And we have our distinguished representative from the CPMR, Sari Nuro. She is the Baltic Sea Commission Maritime Working Group Chair. And I have to say that also Sari is elected board member of the city of Arache and of the region of Oulu, which is the Europe's Capital of Culture 2026. So we were talking about culture and science this morning, and I also want to extend on my personal behalf and on behalf of the colleagues from DG Mare, many, many thanks to MK. She was absolutely fantastic because ocean is not only knowledge but also feeling, and this is the only way through emotion that we can raise the awareness of our citizens, especially the ones that don't have everyday touch with the ocean. So I will now move to the chairs so that I'm close to our panelists. And we will start with a couple of questions to our distinguished panelists. So, I will start with two general questions to all of our panelists. The first question is related to the overall framework initiative of the Ocean Pact and how you see the main challenges with regard to the Ocean Pact? And the second question, so please take them together. And the second question is about the value added of the European Ocean Pact and the synergies that you see as a result of its implementation. So what are your takes on these two questions? And I will start with Patrick.
Well, thanks very much, and very happy to be here, and delighted indeed, Charlene, that the whole debate on sustainability and our shared interest in having a marine environment which is not only benefiting us today, but also preserved and developed further for future generations. And I think that's where I would start with the challenges. And I really like your expression about mainstreaming, because I think that the first challenge is how do we create a platform where all the different dimensions of our marine policies come together, particularly at a time when we see a worrying decline in ocean health because of climate change, pollution, and the overuse of resources. And these things demand urgent action. And urgent action, and this is, I think, the third challenge I see, at a time when the geopolitical context and the sort of security dimension of preserving the oceans as a common resource are extremely visible and present. So those are my thoughts about the challenges. For the value added, the opportunities, I mean, firstly, I really hope that building on the excellent work on the Ocean Pact, that as we work together towards the future Ocean Act, we can consolidate this single vision of where we see the future of our ocean policies, with ocean health, I hope, very much at the center of the debate, that we can use this sort of collective work to ensure much better coordination between the different dimensions of our policy, and also better focus for the much needed investments as we think also to the future about the design of the next multi-annual financial framework. And that, linked with parallel initiatives such as the water resilience strategy, which was adopted by the Commission last year, with this sort of source-to-sea approach, that we can really use the Ocean Pact as a joined-up framework to meet our respective needs.
Thank you, Patrick. Who wants to take? Probably Futini, you can continue.
Thank you, good morning, and many thanks for the invitation. Very pleased to be here. First of all, from our perspective, I'm in charge of maritime transport policies, and our policies already contribute quite substantially to the health of the oceans. First, through initiatives linked to decarbonization. Second, initiatives and legislation. Second, several legislative frameworks to diminish the environmental impact of shipping on the environment. But also, third point, pushing on eco-friendly activities like onshore power supply or alternative fuels deployment. So, indeed, these activities are only in line with the sustainable management principles of ocean management. But what is most interesting from my perspective is the objective of the Ocean Pact to offer coherence across different policies. And this coherence is very much important. We see that the ocean becomes a place of competition between activities. We had the recent case where we had an offshore wind park crossing an old maritime route. And you see there that you need to find the right approach in order to balance safety with environmental and economic interests. And this is, for me, at the same time, the challenge and the ended value of the Ocean Pact, offering this coherence across policies, which is super important in order to achieve the Union's objectives. And you mentioned, Charlene, the Ocean Board. We really hope that this board will give us, identify these challenges and give us the right direction. And by the way, to say, you also refer to the spatial planning revision. We have big hopes on this one. Thank
Thank you very much. James, would you like to share your
Sure.
views?
Thanks. I have a choice of 2 microphones, so I could do it in stereo if anybody likes. Yeah, it's great to be here. I feel in this room it's a bit like it must have been at an early Pink Floyd gig in the psychedelic period, you know, but there you go. I think the main challenge here is also the main deliverable, and the main deliverable is to take a holistic approach to the ocean. And that is the challenge, really, at the same time, because traditionally we've dealt with it in various bits of the Commission, and this is the chance to join up. Of course, at the heart of it is science, and I would say that from my point of view. So the key challenge really is that we have the best research and innovation approach in place in order to build EU capacity to deal with the ocean in an integrated, holistic and strategic matter, I'd say. Part of that, of course, I'm going to do a cheap plug, is the Ocean Research and Innovation Strategy, and we will, of course, tomorrow have our second stakeholder event on that, so if people are sort of interested in that, it's a chance to get involved in it. In terms of the added value, I mean, it's huge. I mean, just having something joined up in itself is, you know, to have one ocean policy as the EU is enormous added value. And that's important from my point of view because that helps already in the Horizon research work programme, because it helps sort of, you know, draw everybody together and decide on calls and things that are mutually reinforcing. And of course, it helps a lot in the perspective of the next research framework programme 10, which will run from 2028 to 2034. And those who've looked at that will see that there isn't an obvious sort of window, because you've got this thing called the European Competitiveness Fund, and that's mirrored in the research programme. And the word ocean doesn't actually feature there in one of those windows. But I would say this stuff is baseline. You know, there is no competitiveness without a planet that you can live on, water you can drink, air you can breathe, etc. And it's all part of that. So it's good to have the Ocean Act, and there's real value added in that sort of perspective in the research and in the startup scale-up sort of perspective. And so I'd also echo what Patrick had said. I mean, apart from the Ocean Research and Innovation Strategy, we're doing the Water Resilience Research and Innovation Strategy, and hey, here's the news, they're linked. The source-to-sea approach that was set out in the Ocean Pact is definitely a big development in the way that we view these issues.
Thank you very much. Sari.
Thank you, Director General Vicheva. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'd like to start by warmly thanking DG Mare for the opportunity to take part in this very important exchange. As said, I represent the CPMR, which is an organization that represents over 200 million Europeans living in peripheral maritime regions. And my home region is one of the northernmost EU regions. It's also Arctic. We also have a border of 130 kilometers with Russia. Above us, in this current geopolitical mayhem, which is underway, both NATO's and Russia's nuclear umbrellas coincide along our region. And then from the maritime point of view, in my region, the sea is frozen from 3 to 6 months annually. So this is the sort of special kind of circumstances we live in. When it comes to the novelty of the European Ocean Pact, is that from the point of view of the peripheral maritime regions, it's actually the first formal endorsement, the Pact for the Ocean, that responds to long-standing CPMR calls for a Blue Deal. Establishing a single coherent framework, it's also de facto establishes a unified reference framework to develop European integrated maritime policy. And the importance is that I would refer to former US First Lady Michelle Obama, who has said that when they go low, we go high, and I think it sort of shows that we are, and we want to be responsible actors in Europe, and we are not wanting to toss out the international cooperation and multilateral cooperation out from the window, as it seems to be the trend in so many parts of the world nowadays. What I would also like to comment from the point of view of CPMR is the very participatory approach and multi-level governance, which encourages cross-sector cooperation when it comes to fisheries, transport, tourism, and renewable blue energy, and moves beyond administrative silos. Also, the novelty in the Ocean Board as innovation hub, we see is that it enables a very structured contribution of maritime regions and stakeholders to policy making, and also monitors initiatives and co-shapes integrated regulatory framework. When it comes to added value, with the framework and innovation, it helps moving beyond sectoral approaches when it comes to maritime, environment, climate and security. It puts ocean and people at the center, which is very important. Focus on resources and communities and common reference for future policies. It encourages innovative responses considering land-sea interconnections, which is particularly important to us in the Northern Europe in this day and age. The cross-boundary planning when it comes to maritime governance and spatial planning beyond national borders, it also strengthens us in this current world situation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So from, first of all, I'm really happy, James, that we managed to create an atmosphere that reminds of Pink Floyd concerts. Actually, I love them, so I think it's a compliment rather. On the responses from our panelists, I can sum up that actually the challenge and the value added can coincide depending from where you look at them. It's a challenge to achieve coherence, balance, holistic approach, but actually this is the basic value added, and if achieved, we will actually achieve mutual reinforcing. And from my point of view, what is really essential, and if we have a KPI, key performance indicator, of whether we will achieve the coherence and consistency across sectors, this will be if each and every administration that is engaged considers that the pact actually leads to mutual reinforcing, and we will stop safeguarding our space because it will be with full mutual understanding that going together is much better for our own policy. So let's end this general request to our panelists. And now I will go with first cluster of questions to Patrick. And Patrick, you will not be surprised if I ask you a question about the MSFD review, the Marine Strategy Framework Directive. How do you see this revision and the Ocean Act as contributing to the Ocean Pact?
Well, thanks very much. And no, I think it's a great opportunity for us to work in the framework of the Ocean Pact on the future of the Marine Strategy Framework Directive. Because, you know, with ocean health being one of the key pillars of the Ocean Pact, that is what we hope we can, you know, deliver and strengthen through the revision of this important piece of legislation, working alongside, as you said earlier, Charlene, with the future revision of the Spatial Planning Directive. I think that the main finding from the evaluation that we did of the MFSD was that it had made good progress in creating a framework for reporting and monitoring on ocean health, but unfortunately has yet to achieve its full potential in terms of delivering the benefits that we're looking for in terms of stronger, better aligned environmental laws. So we hope also in the current spirit of simplification to review the legislation to make the delivery more straightforward for Member States' authorities and the effectiveness greater in terms of preserving biodiversity and restoring ocean health so that we can all continue to benefit from the rich economic opportunities that lie in our oceans and the vibrant social fabric that it preserves in so many coastal communities.
Yeah, thank you, Patrick. Actually, you touched upon the ocean health and protection of the marine environment objective of the Ocean Act. Would you like to say a couple of words about when the review will be ready of the MSFD? So how, because you mentioned that the evaluation shows a number of elements, but if you want to give a bit more details about the MSFD review?
The public consultation is ongoing at the moment, so I would encourage strong responses to that. I think we're hoping to draw some conclusions towards the end of the year so that that can feed into the work that is underway on the Ocean Act, because we very much see there's three pillars, the future of the MFSD, the Marine Spatial Planning Directive, and the important work that you're doing also with the support of James and others on ocean observation, ocean monitoring, and the way that we manage and consolidate data and scientific evidence, all coming together in the future agenda for the Ocean Act.
Yeah, thank you very much. And we also heard that simplification will be achieved as well in this review. That can produce more buy-in as well, because this is one of the strives of the political agenda to simplify our work, to simplify it also for our stakeholders. So if we can achieve a high effectiveness, efficiency plus simplification, then that will be really a good win. My last question to you is about the marine protected areas. I know that the European Court of Auditors is finalizing their work on that, so I'm not going to ask you about that, but how do you see the MPA's network and their effectiveness delivering to the objectives of the Ocean Pact?
Well, I think they're very, very important, and I think we need to do three things. I mean, firstly, I think we need to expand and better connect the existing network of marine protected areas so that we achieve the objective that we've had of the 30% of all marine environments. And the connection is particularly important because, as we know, there's a lot of interrelated ecological systems that if we don't address them all together will not be fully effective in supporting biodiversity recovery. So as well as extending and consolidating network, I think we need to be better at managing the marine protected areas that we have. This was a central theme, of course, in the action plan that we worked on together during the previous Commission mandate, but it also means that we need to be better at having the science that we need to have effective management. And that's why I think that the research agenda that James was talking about earlier is so vitally important. And thirdly, we need to, I think, intensify our work with member states to help them to develop the sort of strategies that are needed not only to manage the marine protected areas more effectively, but also to show the benefits of doing that, so that we get more collective ownership, so that the long-term advantages of having healthy, well-managed marine environments can be visible to all and therefore more widely supported.
Thank you very much, Patrick. Indeed, only effective buy-in can bring implementation to the level that will deliver the objectives of the MPAs. And there, I fully agree with you that we need to work very closely with the member states, because the member states are designing them, the member states are implementing them, and they have to implement them together with all the stakeholders that have relevance to the positive outcome of this work. And here I would like to really make the link with Sari and CPMR representation, because indeed we need these type of networks to make a quick and substantial change in how we treat the MPAs. Now I will turn to Fotini, the Waterborne Director in DG Move. I know it's a very difficult task for you, because my question will be related to the industrial maritime strategy, and we have 2 days to go before it is going to be adopted by the college, so it will be a very tricky situation for you of how much you would like to deliver at this stage. But my question will be more general. How do you see this strategy boosting the competitiveness of the blue economy, and how you see this strategy acting towards more sustainability of the maritime industry? Over to you.
Thank you. Indeed, initially the strategies were to be adopted earlier, so now they are on the agenda of the college in 2 days from now. First of all, I will be able to outline, of course, the general principles and try to raise a little bit the curtain, but not too much. So the first thing is to say that there are 2 strategies that are adopted together. One is the industrial maritime strategy, the other is the port strategy. And in fact, this gives a clear signal from our perspective that we need to see those industries, shipping, shipbuilding, and ports, are strategic industries, and we need to see them as an ecosystem, because the one depends to the other. To give a little bit of context before replying to your question, so when it comes to maritime industrial strategy, clearly the aim is to boost and strengthen the shipping and the shipbuilding industries in Europe. They are at different levels. Shipbuilding over the years, we have lost a lot towards our Asian competitors, mainly due to unfair subsidies. On shipping, we are still world leaders, but the competition with ASEAN is really growing. In fact, what our thinking around these strategies is to use the innovation, digitalization, sustainability challenges as industrial opportunities, and therefore use them to boost the technological leadership of Europe and therefore the competitiveness of the segment. The strategy is structured around 3 main areas, and it's working also on 3 enablers. First area is, of course, manufacturing, shipbuilding, and marine equipment, where we are very realistic. I think what we try to do is to push where Europe has its biggest strength, which is building complex ships. We are building 97% of cruises in the world. And we are leaders in marine equipment. So the strategy is going to reinforce this, this tendency and provide actions like, for instance, how we can boost with public procurement the development of our industry. Second pillar is, of course, the shipping industry, where we would like really to keep our lead in place. We have actions to make sure that we have quality and competitive shipping in Europe, including through simplification measures. And the third element is the connection with defense, because as you know, civilian and naval shipbuilding are closely connected. When you lose your civilian capability, you might lose your defense capability. So this is a very clear link, including dual use, for example, dual use ferries, or ferries to be used for military mobility. And then there are the three enablers, innovation, of course, that we are looking at and see how we can boost it. Access to finance. This is a key problem, both for shipyards and for shipping. Our European ship owners, they build in China their ocean going ships, and at the same time, they don't have the opportunity to have loans in Europe. They do get the loans in China, which means that for years and years, a ship that can be flying under the European flag is the ownership of China. So this is a dependency we would like to address. And last but not least, the question of workforce. How do we upgrade the workforce? How do we attract the workforce? We are looking here again in the whole cluster, providing also opportunities of mobility between the different parts. Now, how it will influence the greater blue economy? The first and foremost, I would like to say, when we are looking at building our shipbuilding, boosting our shipbuilding capabilities, we are looking at many activities that are of direct relevance to blue economy. We are looking at the question of fishing vessels. We are looking at the question of building up offshore platforms, and many, many other things, underwater, etc. So that's a clear link that can go beyond, of course, the examples I gave you. Second, when we are looking at the sustainable practices for shipping and shipbuilding, again, this will have spillover effects over the entire blue economy. Skills development, if we are able to have a workforce that is up to date in terms of innovation, this can also benefit the broader cluster. And of course, if we manage to build an environment in Europe where access to finance will be more streamlined and easier, again, we can imagine that there will be a broader benefit to the blue economy sectors, to other sectors.
No, thank you very much. So we are looking forward in 2 days' time to read this strategy. Of course, we know a lot from DG Mare because we've been working together, but 3 pillars, 3 enablers, and the core is innovation. So, James, it's again a look to you. And linked to what our president said this morning, Ocean Eye is there to provide the data that will be needed for research and innovation in order to bring competitiveness in blue economy. Thank you, Fontini, also for covering the whole blue economy sector, because that was the question. Indeed, there should be mutual reinforcing of the blue economy sectors. They are one value chain, and we have to take care of the whole value chain. My second question is about the port strategy, and I will go for a concrete question there. You already said that there is a spillover effect. Shipping is also relevant for fisheries, and we are quite sensitive in DG Mare about fisheries. So my question will be about the decarbonization and how the port strategy will actually help decarbonization, not only of shipping, but also related to commercial transport, but also for fishing vessels. So how would you make the link between the overall port development and the decarbonization?
Thank you. Again, to use a word that is very much à la mode, the port strategy, again, is a holistic strategy. It covers all the challenges of ports. But I will go now directly to your question. And in fact, ports can no longer be seen as transit points where goods, people, and energy transits. They are developing as clean energy hubs and as industrial places where new energy can be generated. So, in fact, the vision that the port strategy is putting in place is the one of ports, and especially of the biggest ports, where we have clean energy industrial ecosystems, where we integrate offshore energy, wind, where we store energy, where we transport CO2, and all of these elements, and of course a place where we have circular economy activities. And to be a bit more concrete on areas that will benefit the whole blue economy sector. First of all, we are in the port strategy in the defined measures to further push electrification of operations in ports and to further push the deployment of onshore power supply. This, of course, has immediate impact in terms of quality, environmental impact, air pollution, when we are speaking of coastal areas. Second area where we are pushing is the question of connection to the grid of ports. You know, this is a challenge even if our policies are yes, very much demanding in that respect. What we would like also to do is a better connection between the trans-European transport networks and trans-European energy networks, so that ports can integrate offshore wind and so that everything is linked together. Third area, and this is an area where colleagues of Patrick have helped us, is the question of accelerating permits. And when it comes to energy, strategic energy projects. And as you know, DG Environment has adopted last December an omnibus in that respect that we really hope that will help ports in accelerating permitting procedures while always respecting sustainability requirements. And last point I'd like to say that will benefit the blue economy sector more broadly, we are looking at ways to better use digitalization to create better exchange in terms of logistics chains to facilitate ports to become smarter. And clearly this is going also to have positive influence in other areas like marine activities, tourism, etc.
No, thank you very much, Fontini. Again, another deliverable that we will be looking forward to. Ports are hubs, they are not transitory points, as you said, so we have to use them fully for electrification, for circularity, so we have to use all the potential of these hubs for boosting blue economy, but also for increasing sustainability. And technological leadership there is, again, absolutely essential. Now I move to the third deliverable that we are working together with DG Move, and this is the tourism strategy. And my question will be, probably I will set the scene by saying that 40% of overstays in night terms in tourism are in coastal areas. So that only shows how important ocean tourism is. But also, I have to say that coastal tourism is the biggest blue economy sector as well. So from this point of view, the tourism strategy is really important for the blue economy at large. So my question will be about the fair distribution of these overnight stays. So how would you aim in the tourism strategy to have a fair share, in a way, of tourism in the majority of the coastal states, not to have over-concentration?
Yes, absolutely. So first of all, this strategy is coming a bit later, so it's set for June now, this June 2026. And it's going to look at the question of sustainability of tourism from several perspectives, the economic, environmental and social one. And the question of unbalanced tourism will be a central theme of the strategy, clearly. So, of course, the reflection is not yet over, but we are, I can tell you a little bit our line of thinking, what we would like. We are considering developing, for example, guidelines in order to help destinations to tackle unbalanced tourism. We are looking at which other tools we can use beyond that to support destinations. And for example, one of our considerations is whether we should set up a cruise forum where we could have exchange between all the parties involved, including cruises, to develop best practices and recommendations. And, but the question of unbalanced tourism doesn't only apply to coastal cities, it does apply also to other cities. And so we are going also to look in a broader view to make sure that we have the tools so that when there is over-tourism in some cities, there is the possibility to direct the flows elsewhere, because there are plenty of hidden gems, and maybe the model we have today is not the, certainly is not the most sustainable. And last but not least, and in connection to the dashboard you are preparing for the Ocean Pact, that is going to be based in different dashboards. We have also our EU tourism dashboard that is going to be integrated in your big dashboard, and there we hope to give enough data to the destinations so that they can better manage the workflows.
Thank you very much. Now we will move to James. And the biggest announcement today by the President was on something that we will be working together with you, James, the ocean observation, or the ocean eye. But for this, we need technologies, and they have to be high-end technologies. And normally, high-end technologies, they develop when there is a market of such technology. So how are we going to support the Ocean Observation Initiative, the Ocean Eye, by developing these technologies which link very well the topic to strategic autonomy as well? So, James, over to you.
Thanks, Charlena, and thank you also for coming up with the name Ocean Eye, because for many months I've been worried this was going to be called the Ocean Observation Initiative, and of course the acronym would then have been OI. So it's good that we found a name for it eventually, and it's great that we've launched it. And you're right. I mean, the question you asked, it starts from quite a simple premise, really. If Europe wants strategic autonomy in marine knowledge, climate resilience, and marine security, then it must also master the technologies that generate that data. And we're not quite there yet, because today, quite a lot of the critical components of the global observation system, the sensors, the platforms, the communication systems, the data infrastructure, depend on a limited number of suppliers worldwide. And that, of course, creates vulnerabilities, because when people decide that they're not going to do something, and you have something like Copernicus that relies on it, then you have a vulnerability. So the objective, therefore, is twofold. First, to foster as much disruptive research and innovation as possible on these technologies. And second, as you say, to build a market, because it's all very well doing research for research's sake, but unless you can do the innovation to investment journey in it, it's not going to work. So on those technologies, I think the R&I agenda is going to focus on expanding the range and the maturity of physical, biogeochemical, now there's a difficult word to say, and biological sensors for essential ocean variables related to climate, biodiversity, and ecosystem health. At the moment, a lot of the float network just looks at temperature and salinity, and I think we can be a lot more ambitious about that. Then secondly, linked to that, improving sensor accuracy, stability, miniaturization, energy efficiency, long-term reliability, which is a big issue here, cost efficiency, and of course interoperability. And then thirdly, on those sort of strategic R&I priorities, looking to really start work to develop the next generation of autonomous systems. And, you know, the aim is to apply the same logic across the entire marine knowledge value chain, which would be a bit of a revolution in a way. And that means from observation technologies to data processing, cloud infrastructures, modeling, digital twins, which we've talked about, and ultimately all the way to downstream users such as fishers, coastal planners, renewable energy operators, insurers, maritime authorities. But as you said, none of that's going to happen. Research is lovely, and I love it, but it's not for its own sake in all of this. And so I think it can only be achieved if we create the market at the same time, and we use the levers and the instruments that we have to do that. And therefore, we need to look at leveraging EU and national programs as lead customers for these technologies. We need to look at, as every Commission person says at the moment, promoting public procurement of innovative solutions. We need to reduce fragmentation through setting standards and operability sort of standards in particular. And we need to facilitate the access to testing and demonstration infrastructure, because it's out there, but it's not available to everybody who's an innovative company. And that's part of the stuff in the European Innovation Act at the moment. So we want European companies, SMEs, startups, to be global leaders in ocean tech. And we want to help them move on that innovation to investment journey from niche markets to global value chains. And I think by strengthening scale-up support, improving access to finance, and connecting innovators to downstream users, we can build a competitive, European industry and industrial sector in this space.
No, thank you very much. Indeed, it's about marine knowledge ecosystem and investment journey, and accompanying this journey to the very end, to the market. So it's not an easy ambition, but the ambition is high, and I hope that we can deliver on it. What we can be assured about is that this marine knowledge will be the source for the overall blue economy, for science, for maritime security uses, for everything that we can think of about the ocean. So understanding the ocean goes via the ocean eye. And I would like now to link it with the digital twin of the ocean. And I will repeat the encouragement of our president: go and see. The demonstration is really exceptional. We are willing to have it fully operational by 2030. But how are we going to link the Ocean Eye and the DTO, the digital twin of the ocean? So what would you share with us, James, about the digital twin of the ocean and how important it is?
Well, it's very important, and it's rather cool. So if you haven't gone and had a look at the simulator, I'd encourage you to do it, because what's the point of gathering all this data if you're not going to do anything with it? I mean, if you can put it into something like the digital twin of the ocean, then you have a really powerful tool, and a tool with predictive capacity across a whole lot of sectors. I mean, it shows really that you can bring ocean knowledge into one strategic, shared and accessible space that helps us all to better understand what's happening in our ocean. because that's part of the problem at the moment. We don't know. We have a deep-seated unease that things are not well. We know that. We know about the triple crisis. But we just really don't have the data, and we don't have the predictive instruments to look and see what effect something might have or why something is happening. So for research and innovation, it's a common framework where science, reproducibility, transparency, and interoperability are built in from the start. And our aim is to continue to develop that in an open and cooperative way. And I think if we do that, we will really be setting the global standard in this area, and it'll be a benchmark. And it'll showcase how digital tools can support sustainability, economic development, and ocean stewardship, while remaining grounded in transparency and, yes, it's not very fashionable, international cooperation.
No, thank you very much. Indeed, we cannot protect something that we don't know, and without the really deep understanding of what we're trying to protect. So even the first very important pillar of protecting the ocean and ensuring its health, it won't be possible without this knowledge, and the digital twin of the ocean with its simulative power will be able to guide us in this protection effort. But also it will give so much knowledge to the blue economy stakeholders. So everything is really based on high-end technologies, and our global leadership is absolutely essential here. But how to ensure this global leadership? Probably that will be one of the objectives of the research and innovation strategy for the ocean that is going to come, and we're going to work together with you, James. Our teams will put their heads together of how we are going to design a strategy for this. So what would you say at this stage, because it will come later in the year, but the design process is already ongoing?
You want me to say something about that?
Yes, about the strategy.
About the ocean observation, not the ocean observation strategy.
The ocean strategy.
The ocean strategy. Well, yeah, the ocean strategy, as you say, is something we're working on jointly with you. It's part of the scientific basis for all of this. It is linked to the water resilience research and innovation strategy, as we were talking about earlier, it's central to underpinning the digital twin of the ocean, really, and all the other work we're talking about. So, what's the backdrop to the whole thing? Well, global dynamics are quite challenging at the moment, if we were going to use an understatement, and there are shifting priorities amongst international players. So China, for instance, at the moment is investing heavily in ocean R&I. Meanwhile, the US is disengaging to a certain extent. So we've got to take account of this shifting and dynamic environment and the recent changes. So climate change progression has had a huge impact on our ocean and on coastal areas. There's fierce global competition for natural resources, and the ocean is wrongly, I think, seen as the last free resource. So it's the classic tragedy of the commons. Thirdly, ocean biodiversity and biomass are declining at an accelerated rate. We know that. We don't know enough about why or what the likely sort of direction of travel is on that. And then there's the crisis of global governance, which is based on, shared values and rules. And, if we're honest, the US has traditionally played a leadership role in this and has now decided to step back to a certain extent. So the idea really in the research and innovation strategy is that we can fill the void to a certain extent and play a crucial role in global ocean stewardship, science-based decision-making, governance and research and innovation. I think that requires several elements. I mean, firstly, looking inwards, we need to increase our coordination on the ocean and the ocean R&I landscape. So that's not only within the Commission, but it's amongst the member states as well. That coordination can be done between programs at the levels of member states, EU level, Horizon Europe, European Maritime Fisheries and Aquaculture Fund, of course. And then, in terms of Horizon Europe, we already support several ocean R&I initiatives, European partnerships, Mission Oceans and Waters, of course, and the European Institute of Innovation and Technology, the EIT, Water Knowledge and Innovation Community, for example. But we need to maximize all of these. We tend to do these in separate boxes, and we don't look for the synergies between them. So streamlining and coordinating that landscape would improve, I think, our capacity to address ocean-related challenges, which are there, they're very real, we know about them, and to enhance the cooperation and cross-sectoral initiatives that we can take on them. And then secondly, I'd say, looking outwards, we need to improve international cooperation, because it's one ocean at the end of the day. It doesn't respect any borders at all, because there are no borders in the ocean. And so that includes, you know, the governance and exploration of those parts of the ocean that are not governed by individual countries, which is why the BBNJ treaty is so important. And you know, we're part of the idea of having a global alliance for our Ocean Eye, our Ocean Observation Initiative, is really with that in mind. We continue to do lots of stuff as the Commission. I've just finished or stepped down from chairing the All Atlantic Ocean Research and Innovation Alliance, which is another collaborative partnership. We bring scientific evidence and support to international organizations such as the IOC, UNESCO, the International Seabed Authority, and of course, you know, we're a key player in BBNJ, in the Biodiversity Beyond National Jurisdiction Treaty, which entered into force, I think, at the beginning of the year. So the R&I strategy would look to build on all of that in the international thing, and to develop productive international relationships so you can expect really quite a lot of continuity in research on ocean climate interaction, marine ecosystems and their protection and restoration, and an increased emphasis, I think, on risks, coastal resilience and security, and then an intensification of the development of innovation in all sectors of the blue economy so that they contribute more to EU competitiveness and to strategic autonomy without causing harm to the sea and the ocean.
Thank you very much, James. So a lot of work ahead of us. Of course, we have very solid building blocks and stepping stones that we have already delivered. I will recall the EMODNet, the European Marine Observation and Data Network. I will recall Copernicus Marine Service. I will recall Mission Ocean. So we have a lot of solid foundation to explore, but there are so many gaps ahead of us, instabilities, insecurities, and areas to cover, so we need a strategic approach. And now I come to Sari. Sari, what the CPMR, this community of 200 million citizens that are covered, expects from the European Ocean Pact and the European Ocean Act?
We expect practical conclusions and practical results. Of course, solutions that take into account the regional approach. And one key expectation is, of course, that you put your money where your mouth is. That is always very important for implementing regulatory framework. So those would be basically the key expectations that we have. Thanks.
And then I would, because we've been talking about a number of strategies that will cast away, whether for the ports, whether for the industrial maritime sector, whether for the innovation and research strategy, or the regulatory framework related to healthy oceans. So what do you expect from these strategies, and how do you see your active support in this process?
For instance, when it comes to strategies such as the Coastal Community Strategy, in the CPMR, we believe that this strategy represents a real opportunity to create conditions for a proper coastal resilience approach. And this is something that the CPMR has been emphasizing and advocating for years. The coastal resilience, sustainable development, and inclusive governance cannot be addressed with one-size-fits-all approach. The policies need to consider local realities if they are going to have a real impact on the ground. What I would personally like to welcome is the fact that the European Commission, through the Ocean Pact, recognizes the need to provide targeted support to coastal communities. And the coastal communities or regions, they are not just vulnerable, they even historically for hundreds of years, they have been essential drivers of Europe's resilience, competitiveness, and sustainable blue economy. And also from the point of view of peripheral maritime regions, the whole strategy package that it's included in the Ocean Pact, including port strategy and maritime industrial strategy, they are extremely important to us. And the CPMR has also consistently highlighted that the strategy should become a cornerstone of the EU's blue and place-based competitiveness agenda. So from my experience, all in all, I think maritime regions already bring a lot to the table, and we look forward in cooperating with the EU Commission in this regard in the future times ahead as well. Thanks.
No, thank you, Sari. We will be relying heavily on you. With the Coastal Community Strategy, we actually take up the territorial approach, the place-based approach, and we would like to accommodate all the sectoral strategies in a coherent territorial approach, and we will be really reliant on you. And as you have rightly said, we have to consider the coastal communities from the point of view not only of their vulnerability, because they are fully exposed to the elements, but also from the point of view of their strength in holding the flag of the innovative blue economy. And from this point of view, I would like to ask you a question about the smart specialization strategy for blue economy, because it is, and the platform there, so because it is meant to unlock the potential of competitive advantage that each and every coastal area has. So how do you see this platform embedded into the Ocean Pact?
Thank you. This smart specialization thematic platform for a sustainable blue economy, from the CPMR point of view, it opens up opportunities for maritime region to make most of their innovation ecosystem. It's about bringing together research centers, industry clusters, small and medium-sized enterprises to share knowledge, test new ideas, develop solutions in agriculture, coastal tourism, renewable marine energy, blue biotechnology, and maritime transport. And maritime regions actually have already put the sustainable blue economy at the very heart of their smart specialization strategies, and they really know on the local level how to mobilize the local innovation networks effectively. And the platform actually acts as a kind of a catalyst, and it links local capacities to a wider European network, strengthening competitiveness, fostering genuinely sustainable growth. So it's like a firewall, or it's an engine for many good things to happen. And the CPMR has been involved from the very start, and we've helped to shape the platform structure, thematic priorities, and that early engagement actually shows how capable maritime regions are of steering initiatives like that. And from the point of view of my home region of Oulu, we have this so-called Oulu Innovation Alliance, where local research centers and SMEs collaborate closely to develop solutions in offshore renewable energy. So thank you.
No, thank you very much. Catalyst, enabler, the value added of the platform is very clear, and you as CPMR was one of the strong proponents. So we have to, it has its place in the blue economy pillar of the Ocean Pact, and we have to see how best we can embed it in the new multi-annual financial framework, in the design of the national reform and partnership plans. So we have a lot of work to do together as well. Now, we don't have much time, but what I would like you to really summarize in one sentence how you see the future impact of the European Ocean Pact. So, shall I start from Patrick, or we will go voluntary? We start from Patrick.
Well, I won't do it in one sentence. But what I think is really important is that with the Ocean Pact, we have a credible European strategy which makes us an effective actor globally. And I'd like just to mention 3 dimensions that are important. Firstly, in the work we do in regional sea conventions, we've recently seen progress in reducing sulfur emissions in Barcelona process in the Mediterranean, emissions from heavy fuel through scrubbers, through OSPA in the Atlantic. So working to strengthen our collective action through the sea conventions. We are entering a new chapter in our work on the Global Plastics Treaty, which of course is a major source of marine pollution. And we're looking forward later this year to the UN Water Conference, again, around the source to sea theme. And it's only by having a strong and credible policy at European level that we are a useful and valid and respected interlocutor at a time, as James has said very eloquently, when global leadership in this area is a changing picture.
Thank you, Patrick. Fontini?
Yes, in fact, it's a bit of a similar message as Patrick. What I expect from the Ocean Pact is this integrated vision that will make us very strong at international level. With what is happening around today, we really need to be, our only way of being relevant is to have a strong international voice. And to have this strong international voice, we need this integrated vision. And I would say, this is not only for the Commission, of course, but it is, I would say, a shared agenda with member states, with regional authorities, and local authorities as well.
Thank you very much. James?
Sure, I'm just trying to think of how to do it in one sentence. I mean, I always think of that Arthur C. Clarke thing when he says, never was a planet more misnamed than Earth, given that most of it's ocean. And that's true. And so with that in common, I think I would say, I think the Ocean Pact's very important because I think the tragedy of the commons that I describe doesn't have to be a tragedy. It will be a tragedy if we fail to coordinate. It will be a tragedy of mismanagement. And with Ocean Eye and the Ocean Pact, I think the EU is stepping up on this now, and the idea of a global alliance, because it is one ocean. And so I think nothing is inevitable on it. And that ocean, so many people rely on it for their living, for the biodiversity, for the coastal communities. And we need to sort of work together on this. And the idea of the Ocean Pact is really quite a bold initiative from the EU to reach out more globally and in a more coordinated way to avoid that tragedy.
Thank you. And Sari, you have the last word.
Well, I see it as a positive incubator for growth and for well-being. And this kind of an umbrella brings clarity to EU legislation and regulation and a clear framework. Restoration and protection of the seas. It will advance blue economy to grow. Half of EU's population live about not more than 50 kilometers from coastal areas. So the restoration and protective measures suggested in the pact will actually greatly contribute to the well-being of the seas and the ocean. So that's the positive aspect and outcome of the pact, as I see it and we see it. Thanks.
No, thank you very much. I'm really happy to have been able to touch upon many of the initiatives that are upcoming in this year. What comes out as a very clear takeaway is that the Ocean Pact gives a clear vision, helps us to step up our ambition and be a global player, steps us our ambition to use sustainably the ocean for growth, and I'm quoting you, Sari, and well-being, but also steps up our ambition to prevent the tragedy of not taking care about healthy oceans, 70% of planet Earth. So thank you very much. Let's give a round of applause to our panelists.
Thank you very much.
Apologies for being a bit longer.
Thank you very much, Charlene. Fascinating insights. Lots of work to be done, as we heard, but positive signs that we are bringing all of these threads together for the good of the ocean, for the good of all of the users as well. Just a word, we're about to have lunch. Just a word about the session after lunch, inspiring the next generation of blue careers. Education pathways, skills for today and tomorrow, so training as well. And then also this crucial question of the blue generational renewal strategy. That's after lunch. Just a couple of announcements. First of all, though, there is a survey prepared by the MFAF Blue Careers Project. There's a QR code on the screen here. They want your views on this development of skills for the blue economy. And also, don't forget, ahead of that session this afternoon, don't forget to visit the Blue Careers Marketplace. On the first floor, you walk up those wonderful stairs. But now it's time for lunch. Bon appetit. We come back at what time? At 1:30. 1:30 for the next session on Blue Careers. Thank you very much to the panel and to Charlene.